Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and of course, this week in the world of Destiny 2, we had the first official Iron Banner of Season 11, or Season 10, or whatever season we're in right now, the Season of Arrivals. And this Iron Banner was a bit of a marquee event because it's the first Iron Banner that we had the change in matchmaking algorithm live. No more skill-based matchmaking, as it were. And I would say, I've had a pretty darn good time with it overall this time around. This is the first Iron Banner in ages where I've actually logged on all three of my characters, my Warlock, my Titan, and my Hunter, gotten all the bounties done, gotten a full set of gear for each of them because, of course, Iron Banner is fantastic when it comes to getting high stat rolled gear. I think I got the highest stat roll I have ever seen in like a 68 stat roll piece of like a chess piece or something. I don't think I've ever gotten anything higher than that. So I've had a lot of fun with Iron Banner this time around. I've really enjoyed my time in the playlist. I've had a lot of fun games. It's still basic core Iron Banner, the crazy Iron Banner version of Control. The games are always either we mercy the enemy team or they mercy us, but the queue times have been so much faster. The games have been so much more casual in a sense. You can kind of go in there and use whatever it is you want. A sidearm, an auto rifle if you're trying to complete the quest or anything tied to that. I saw some people beaming me with the Night Watch, which I guess is kind of an up-and-coming sort of PvP weapon. Everybody swears by it in the Crucible. I haven't given it a shot yet. I guess I'm going to have to try to whip out an explosive rounds version of that gun. Of course, it's the Reckoning Scout Rifle, but it's been a really good time. I've had an unbelievable amount of fun jumping into the Iron Banner. And me personally, I would absolutely attribute that success to the change in matchmaking algorithm, the removal of skill-based matchmaking. And believe me, I may not be the only person who thinks so. Of course, back at the start of this season, Bungie announced that they would be removing the skill-based matchmaking algorithm from all Crucible playlists except for Elimination, Comp, and Trials. And this, of course, left kind of a split reaction in the community. Half of the community loved it, especially the PvP players loved it. They've been waiting for this sort of thing to happen forever. The other half is saying, oh, well, I don't want to have to face Frostbolt every single game now. Am I going to have to do that? And you guys know what side I'm on. I have been arguing for the removal of skill-based matchmaking forever. I think it kills basically every game it touches. It's one of the things that has ruined Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward's offering last year, which I consider to be potentially one of the greatest Call of Duties of all time. It could have been the greatest Call of Duty of all time, but a mixture of bad maps and an extremely aggressive skill-based matchmaking algorithm that just makes every game a drag to play has absolutely gutted that game. When you're not sitting there in the lobby screen waiting for 15 minutes to get into a match, you're just going up against the worst of the worst connections and the worst of the worst sweat. It's an awful experience outside of one or two maps that I enjoy like Shoot House and Shipment. So I, for one, was really happy to see Bungie remove the skill-based matchmaking algorithm from Destiny 2. And I gotta say, it looks like that may have saved the Crucible. It may have saved the entire game, as it were. And I've got some numbers to back that up. When Bungie made this change to matchmaking, they said that they made the change in response to community feedback, and good Lord knows we've been getting feedback about matchmaking for a long time. They said that this would shorten queue times, improve connection in mini matches, and will also play into the strengths of the Crucible being a bombastic, frenetic action game, where the priority is having fun rather than winning at all costs. And of course, I have definitely noticed those changes. I've talked about it many times. Before this change went into effect, before this season, sometimes my queue times would be in the 5 to 10 minute range. I'd have the time to queue for a game of Control or Clash or whatever was the playlist for that week, get up, go make a sandwich, eat it, go think about pooping it out, and come back and still have about a minute left before I actually found 12 players to jump into a game. And I really haven't noticed that all too often now that this change has gone into effect. Now, I basically queue up for a playlist like Iron Banner or Mayhem, which is live right now, and I'm in a game pretty much 30 to 40 seconds later. It's a fantastic experience. I've had way better connections in the matches that I've been playing, and overall, just a way more casualized Crucible experience. I think it's a good thing overall for the game. And again, seems like a lot of other players out there might be agreeing with me, or at the very least enjoying their overall experience in the Crucible and Iron Banner and Mayhem this time around. We got this awesome article from Dexerto, which tracks a lot of esports-based stuff, talking about a monster spike in the daily number of active Crucible players. As you can see, they state here that Destiny 2 has enjoyed a monster spike in its player versus player playlist this week, after Bungie's decision to disable the controversial skill-based matchmaking feature in Crucible and Iron Banner game modes last month. And believe you me, those numbers are indeed massive. Earlier this week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, we had in excess of 942,000 Crucible players active in the game. And you know, for a bit of background reference here, generally the number of people playing PvE activities by far eclipses those who play PvP. Most people who play Destiny play for the PvE environment. But for the first time in Destiny 2's history, the number of PvP players almost equaled the number of PvE players. Here you can pull up the screen from Destiny Tracker. I do believe this was from Tuesday. It's what I was referring to a little bit earlier. As you can see there, we had 956.3 thousand people engaging in PvE activities on that day. And we had 942.8 thousand Crucible players, meaning a vast majority of people who are mainly playing PvE also jumped in to complete some PvP activities. And again, those numbers are titanic. For those who don't know, you can find these types of numbers on websites like Destiny Tracker, which tracks the number of players who engage in activities in the game, whether it's PvE or PvP related over a daily period. And these numbers weren't just one-day outliers. I was checking Destiny Tracker every day since Tuesday, and the numbers remained mostly stable at around 900,000, and then towards the weekend, they dropped into the 800,000s. I think as of yesterday, there are about 889,000 people playing PvE activities and 842,000 people playing the Crucible, meaning these numbers are solid, they are consistent, and they are higher than anything we've seen before, at least when it comes to Crucible in Destiny 2. For real, these numbers here, this getting up to over 900,000 people in the Crucible, that's 2 to 3 times as many people as we have ever had playing Crucible in any sort of consistent fashion. Shoot, when Trials came back a season or so ago, we were super excited because the number of people playing Trials shot up to like 300,000. This is 3 times as many people as were jumping in on the first week of Trials of Osiris. And it's like, well over 3 times as many people that jumped into the average Crucible game back when Shadowkeep first came out. These numbers are significant. Now, of course, there is a bit of an explanation for why so many people might be jumping from PvE into PvP. We've got Iron Banner, of course, which is a great source for pinnacle rewards. We've got some of those new reprised weapons. That's probably going to entice a lot of people to jump in there just for the pinnacle rewards themselves. It's a double Valor week, of course, for people trying to get their Valor resets. And Mayhem is also live. Those are 3 of the most popular things in the Crucible that are live all at the same time. So really, it's not that surprising to see high Crucible numbers, but again, we've never seen numbers this high. We've had this combination, the double Valor, the triple Valor, the Iron Banner, and the Mayhem live all at the same time in previous seasons, and numbers got nowhere near what they're at right now. So obviously, I think Bungie is doing something right here. There has been a change in the way people are approaching the Crucible. There's way more people playing it way more consistently now. At least, again, over the course of this week, I've checked it every day, the player numbers every day since Tuesday's reset happened, and the numbers have been consistently above 800,000, which is a huge milestone, a fantastic achievement for Destiny and for Bungie. Because, of course, the more people playing this game, the better. That's exactly what we all want. We want more people to play in and enjoy Destiny. And it certainly seems like more people are enjoying the Crucible, and in particular, this Iron Banner, than ever have before in the history of D2. And it's going to be very interesting to see how these numbers play out over the next couple of weeks when Iron Banner and Mayhem go away. I do expect a significant drop, by the way. I don't think there's any way that nearly 1 million people are going to be continually playing Crucible. I'd love to be surprised on that, but I do expect a significant drop, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing next week. You know, when the Iron Banner and Mayhem are gone, I'm looking forward to seeing what the average player numbers and daily Crucible activities is going to look like then. If those numbers are still significantly higher than what we experienced before, which is like in the 1 to maybe 200,000s on a good week, then I'd say that Bungie has some pretty solid evidence that the removal of skill-based matchmaking was indeed the right choice. Because right now, it's looking like a home run knocked right out of the park. And I am happy for the success there. I do think more work can be done on the skill algorithm, or rather the matchmaking algorithm. Keep skill out of it. I think Bungie would probably still benefit from some sort of lobby balancing or team balancing, making it so that solo players are less likely to go up against those sweaty 6-stacks. That does happen quite a bit in Iron Banner. But I do think that this is the right move forward for Bungie. I hope they don't renege upon this removal of skill-based matchmaking, because obviously, it's not just me. There are plenty of people out there enjoying the Crucible more now than they were in previous seasons. You know, player feedback is one thing, it's subjective, but numbers don't lie, and the numbers are looking pretty darn good. I really wish other gaming companies would take this into account. I'd love to see Call of Duty, Activision kind of enforce a removal of skill-based matchmaking across the board on a lot of their games outside of their league-based modes. League modes, comp, trials, that should absolutely have skill-based matchmaking. That's what those modes are for. But for Call of Duty, man, I tell you, Call of Duty Modern Warfare could legitimately be the greatest, the GOAT, the best COD game ever if they, well, got better maps and got rid of that awful skill matching algorithm. It's a terrible, terrible time for everybody involved. But at least for Bungie here, I'm proud of them for the decision that they made, and I hope they're enjoying the greatly increased player numbers. Just to put a final point on here, in June alone, Destiny 2's PC player count has gone up by 49.6%. That's basically a 50% increase in player count on Steam alone. I think that goes to show Bungie that Season of Arrivals has definitely been an improvement over the Season of Dawn and worthy or unworthy all the previous ones thus far. Here's hoping they continue the trend moving forward. But alright Guardians, pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. I was really excited about those player numbers, and I hope you are too. But of course, if you're somebody who doesn't like connection-based matchmaking, sound off in the comments. Of course, your experience matters as well. But be sure to let me know how you all feel down there. Have you been enjoying your Crucible experience? Are you hating it? Maybe you're just one of the people who doesn't care about whether or not you win or lose, and you're getting into Iron Banner just to get your pinnacles. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.